Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you see yourself. Right now, as you walk through your daily life, you might be completely unaware that women are noticing you more than you realize. Not because you're loud, flashy, or showing off, but because there's something about you that makes you impossible to ignore. And once you understand these hidden signs, you'll see that you already have what most men spend their whole lives chasing. But before we dive into these powerful signs, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the secrets that women don't say out loud. Sign number 1. Here's something most guys never realize: women don't just remember the man who looked the best in the room, they remember the man who felt different when he spoke. And this is exactly why conversations with you stand out. You're not throwing out tired lines, you're not flexing your status or possessions, you're simply being yourself. Yet somehow, when she walks away, she's still replaying what you said hours later. Why? Because you create depth without even trying. Most men talk to women like they're filling space, surface-level chatter, recycled compliments, or predictable questions. But when you open your mouth, the tone shifts. You ask something thoughtful. You share a perspective she hasn't heard before. Or you listen with genuine attention that makes her feel like she's the only person in the room. And that's rare. That's magnetic. Here's the psychology behind it: women crave emotional connection just as much as physical attraction. When your words make her think, laugh, or feel seen, you've already set yourself apart. She's not comparing you to the other guy at the table, she's measuring how she feels when she's talking to you versus how she feels with anyone else. And whether she admits it or not, you've already won that comparison. Think about it this way: you might make a casual comment about something that matters to you, your passion, your goals, your observations about life. To you, it's just conversation. To her, it's a window into your character. And because it feels real, not rehearsed, it lingers. She remembers the exact words, the way you said them, and the confidence behind them. This is why women start associating you with excitement and curiosity. Even short interactions feel heavier in meaning. She goes home and wonders why she felt different talking to you compared to every other man who tried to impress her. And that why is the exact reason she can't ignore you. So if you've ever had women bringing up things you barely remember saying, weeks or even months later, it's because your words didn't just fill silence. They carried weight. And that weight is exactly what makes you unforgettable. Sign number 2. There's a subtle shift that happens when you walk into the room. She fixes her hair, checks her reflection in her phone screen, or straightens her posture just slightly. To most men, these tiny movements go unnoticed. But here's the truth: when women adjust their appearance in your presence, it's not by accident. It's instinct. And it's one of the clearest signs that you're the guy they can't ignore. Think about it: why would someone suddenly care about how they look the second you're near? It's because your presence triggers self-awareness. She wants to present her best version, not for the crowd, not for the group, but for you. And it's rarely about dramatic gestures. It's the subtle things. She smooths her dress. She applies lip balm in the middle of a casual hangout. She fixes her necklace while glancing at you. These aren't random. They're cues. From a psychological standpoint, this behavior is rooted in attraction and impression management. Studies show that when people are near someone they're drawn to, their body naturally engages in preening behaviors, little adjustments meant to enhance attractiveness. It's not always conscious. Sometimes she won't even realize she's doing it. But you notice, and when you do, you realize her focus is shifting directly onto you. The key thing to understand is this: women don't invest energy in looking better for men they don't care about. If she's indifferent, your arrival doesn't change her. But if you matter, even in a small way, her subconscious works overtime. She wants you to see her at her best. She wants your eyes to linger just a second longer. And that's not something she can fake. Now here's where it gets interesting: when multiple women do this around you, it speaks to something deeper about your presence. You're not just a guy in the background, you're the spark in the environment that raises awareness, changes the dynamic, and makes people subtly compete for your attention. That's what separates men women remember from men they forget instantly. So if you've ever noticed a woman suddenly refreshing her lipstick after you walked in, or fixing her clothes when the conversation turns toward you, take it as the unspoken signal it really is. She's telling you, without words, your attention matters to me. And once you learn to recognize it, you'll see just how powerful your presence really is. Sign number 3. Most men crumble when a conversation runs out of words. They rush to fill the silence with meaningless chatter, nervous jokes, or forced questions. But you don't panic. You let the silence breathe. And that's exactly why women can't ignore you. When you're confident in yourself, you don't rely on constant talking to hold someone's attention. Instead, your calm presence creates something rare: comfort in the spaces between words. That quiet moment, when you simply hold eye contact or share a smile without rushing to speak, carries more weight than 100 filler sentences. Women notice this. They feel it. And it sets you apart immediately. Psychologically, silence can be powerful. Most people interpret it as awkwardness or rejection. But when paired with confidence, it becomes magnetic. It tells her you're not desperate to entertain, you're not seeking validation, and you're not afraid of being fully seen. That level of self-assurance is rare, and it draws her in without effort. Think about it like this: she's talking with other men, and the moment conversation lags, tension rises. They stumble into jokes, they pull out their phone, or they try too hard to fill the void. With you, the opposite happens. She feels safe, steady, and oddly relaxed, even when no one is saying anything. The silence doesn't feel like a void, it feels like connection. And that's why she can't ignore you. Because deep down, women crave security. They want to be around a man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't lose his composure when the energy dips. Your silence signals strength, patience, and control. It shows you're grounded enough to let things unfold naturally, instead of forcing them. Here's the beauty of it: comfortable silence often creates anticipation. It makes her wonder what you'll say next, what you're thinking, and why you seem so at ease. That curiosity works in your favor, because it keeps her engaged even when no words are exchanged. She walks away remembering how she felt in your presence, not rushed, not pressured, but calm and drawn in at the same time. So when you notice her sitting with you in silence, not pulling out her phone, not fidgeting, just being there, understand this is a reflection of your power. You've transformed silence from awkward to magnetic. And that's a sign not every man can create, but one she'll never forget. Sign number 4. Have you ever noticed how, when you walk into the room, some women suddenly adjust how they present themselves? Maybe she casually mentions her recent promotion at work, highlights how often she works out, or slips in a story that shows off her independence. These moments aren't random. They're subtle signals, her way of proving she's worthy of your attention. Here's the truth: when a woman feels drawn to you, she doesn't just want you to notice her looks. She wants you to notice her value. And if you're the kind of man women can't ignore, she'll instinctively find ways to showcase her strengths whenever you're around. It's not arrogance, it's her subconscious attempt to rise to the standard she feels you naturally set. Psychologists call this impression management, the little adjustments people make when they want to be seen in a positive light. But here's the difference: she doesn't do this with just anyone. With other men, she may not bother. Around you, she's suddenly highlighting her skills, sharing her wins, or downplaying flaws that might make her seem less impressive. Think about the weight of that. It means your presence alone shifts her behavior. She doesn't want to seem ordinary, she wants to stand out. And whether she realizes it or not, she's actively competing for a place in your perception. That's a powerful sign. For example, maybe during a casual group conversation, she makes sure to mention how she just completed a marathon, or how her boss praised her on a big project. It might sound like normal conversation to others, but pay close attention to her timing. If those details conveniently surface when you're listening, it's not an accident. It's her way of saying, "Look at me, I'm more than what you see on the surface." This behavior also reveals something deeper: respect. Women only go out of their way to validate themselves in front of men they feel are worth impressing. She's not just attracted to your presence, she's motivated to earn your recognition. And that tells you more about your impact than any flirtatious glance or nervous laugh could. So, the next time you notice a woman suddenly selling herself through achievements or subtle hints, don't dismiss it. Understand what's happening beneath the surface. She sees you as someone significant, someone whose opinion matters enough to shape how she carries herself. That's not ordinary. That's influence. And it's one of the clearest signs you're the guy women simply can't ignore. Sign number 5. Here's something you may not realize: when a woman sees you as unforgettable, you become the quiet measuring stick against which other men are judged. Even if she never says it out loud, every guy she meets gets compared to you, your presence, your energy, your way of carrying yourself. And no matter how subtle it seems, that's one of the strongest signs you're the man she simply can't ignore. Think about it. She could be on a date with someone else, but in the back of her mind, she's asking herself questions like, does he have the same confidence? Does he make me feel as comfortable? Does he spark that same curiosity? If the answer is no, and most of the time it is, then you've already set the bar too high. This isn't about perfection. It's about the emotional imprint you leave behind. When you interact with her, you create an experience, whether it's through meaningful conversations, the way you handle silence, or simply how grounded you seem in yourself. That experience lingers. And because it lingers, it becomes the standard. Other men don't even realize they're competing with it. Here's the part that should make you pause: women rarely hand out comparisons freely. If she's weighing someone against you, it means you've made a lasting impression that stands out from the crowd. You're not just another option, you've become the reference point. This plays out in small but revealing ways. Maybe she laughs at another man's joke but follows it with, "That's funny, reminds me of something you once said." Or maybe when describing the kind of man she's looking for, the qualities she lists suspiciously sound like you. Even if she never mentions your name, you're the shadow she can't quite shake. What this really means is that you've crossed into a deeper space of influence. You're no longer just someone she notices, you're someone she measures others by. That tells you everything. Attraction isn't only about looks or charm, it's about impact. And when you're the benchmark, you've already impacted her in a way most men will never achieve. So pay attention to those subtle slips in conversation, the comparisons she doesn't intend to make, the quiet ways she sets you apart from the rest. If you notice it happening, understand this, you're not just in her mind, you're in her standards. And that's how you know you're the man she can't ignore.